How useful are agents?
We think agents are really, really cool. Like I
Okay.
think agents is like it's like it resembles sort of like a human. It's sort of like the things like you can kind of feel that it like you're getting closer to AGI because you see a demo where um, it acts as a human would, and it's really really cool. I think um, agents are not yet super useful for many things. I think we're getting close to where they will actually be useful, and so I think there are certain types of tasks where having an agent would be really nice. Like I would love to have an agent. For example, if like we have a bug where you sometimes can't Command C and Command V inside our chat input box. And that's a task that's super well specified. I just want to say, like in 2 sentences, this does not work. Please fix it. And then I would love to have an agent that just goes off, does it, and then a day later, I come back and I review the thing.
You mean it goes, finds the right file?
Yeah, it finds the right files. It like tries to reproduce the bug. It like fixes the bug, and then it verifies that it's correct. And this is could be a process that takes a long time. And so I think I would love to have that. And then I think a lot of programming, like there is often this belief that agents will take over all of programming. Um, I don't think we think that that's the case because a lot of programming, a lot of the value is in iterating, or you don't actually want to specify something up front because you don't really know what you want until you've seen an initial version and then you want to iterate on that and then you provide more information. And so for a lot of programming, I think you actually want a system that's instant, that gives you an initial version instantly back, and then you can iterate super, super quickly.
What about something like that recently came out, Replit Agent, that does also like setting up the development environment, installing software packages, configuring everything, configuring the databases, and actually deploying the app?
Yeah,
Is that also in the set of things you dream about?
I think so. I think that would be really cool. For certain types of programming, it would be really cool.
Is that within scope of Cursor?
Yeah, we aren't actively working on it right now, um, but it's definitely like we want to make the programmer's life easier and more fun. And some things are just really tedious and you need to go through a bunch of steps and you want to delegate that to an agent. And then some things you can actually have an agent in the background while you're working. Like let's say you have a PR that's both backend and front end, and you're working on the front end, and then you can have a background agent that does some work and figure out kind of what you're doing. And then when you get to the backend part of your PR, then you have some like initial piece of code that you can then iterate on. Um, and so that would also be really cool.
One of the things we already talked about is speed, but I wonder if we can just linger on that some more in the various places that the technical details involved in making this thing really fast. So every single aspect of Cursor, most aspects of Cursor feel really fast. Like I mentioned, the apply is probably the slowest thing. And for me,
Yeah.
sorry, the pain on Arvid's face.
I know it's a pain. It's a pain that we're feeling, and we're working on fixing it.
Yeah, I mean, it says something that feels, I don't know what it is, like 1 second or 2 seconds. That feels slow. That means that's actually shows that everything else is just really, really fast. So is there some technical details about how to make some of these models, how to make the chat fast, how to make the diffs fast? Is there something that just jumps to mind?
Yeah, I mean, so we can go over a lot of the strategies that we use. One interesting thing is cache warming. And so what you can do is if as the user is typing, you can have, you're probably going to use some piece of context, and you can know that before the user's done typing. So, as we discussed before, reusing the KV cache results in lower latency, lower costs, cross requests. So as the user starts typing, you can immediately warm the cache with, like, let's say the current file contents. And then when they press enter, there's very few tokens it actually has to prefill and compute before starting the generation. This will significantly lower TTFT.
Can you explain how KV cache works?
Yeah. So the way transformers work,
I like it.
I mean, like one of the mechanisms that allow transformers to not just independently, like the mechanism that allows transformers to not just independently look at each token, but see previous tokens, are the keys and values to attention. And generally the way attention works is you have at your current token some query, and then you've all the keys and values of all your previous tokens, which are some kind of representation that the model stores internally of all the previous tokens in the prompt. And like by default, when you're doing a chat, the model has to, for every single token, do this forward pass through the entire model. That's a lot of matrix multiplies that happen, and that is really, really slow. Instead, if you have already done that and you stored the keys and values and you keep that in the GPU, then when let's say I have stored it for the last n tokens, if I now want to compute the output token for the n+1 token, I don't need to pass those first n tokens through the entire model because I already have all those keys and values. And so you just need to do the forward pass through that last token. And then when you're doing attention, you're reusing those keys and values that have been computed, which is the only kind of sequential part or sequentially dependent part of the transformer.